God of War and God of War Ragnarok are masterpieces of modern mythology storytelling because they went past what was easy and returned to what makes mythology great. The original God of War games had a very easy concept. You are a demigod and you get to kill the entire Greek pantheon. And in terms of storytelling and gameplay, that is all they needed, and they revelled in it. So when the franchise returned a decade later, they could very easily have gone with the easy option. Now it's the Norse gods, you get to kill them too. But they didn't, and instead what we got was a thoughtful and compelling breakdown of violence and masculinity and a return to mythological storytelling. And the greatest myths and legends that we remember are ones we remember because of the stories they tell and the lessons they teach, not just because they are cool concepts. And the embrace of that idea is seen most clearly with Mimir, the storytelling head that Kratos carries on his adventures in the new games, who tells all kinds of stories from the past of his time in Norse and Gaelic mythology. Every one of Mimir's stories teaches a moral lesson. The protagonist learns something from it. They're fables. And the story of Kratos over God of War and God of War Ragnarok is not the story of how cool it is to commit extreme violence against gods. It's the story of what impact it has on someone being that exposed to that level of violence for so long and how they can recover from it. Kratos not only spends the entirety of those two games slowly managing to come to terms with the violence of his past and how violence was not actually the solution to all of his problems, now or then, but also how violence and his refusal to engage with his own emotions in order to turn to violence and survive it sabotaged his capacity to behave as a father. And after all the stories, getting to know everything about the gods of the setting, learning how they interact, how they planned, what the grand scheme is behind the bad guys, the most compelling and important moment in the entire story is when Kratos has a realization, and he grabs his son by the arms and tells him what he's realized. That it doesn't do any good to bury his emotions and refuse to care for other people. The morale of Kratos' story is that he was wrong, and he has realized that his son can do better by no longer burying emotions under violence, but instead opening his heart to compassion.
Listen closely. You feel their pain because that is who you are. And you must never sacrifice that. Never. Not for anyone. I was wrong, Atreus. I was wrong. Open your heart. Open your heart to their suffering. That is your mother's wish. And mine as well. Today, we will be better.
Like all the greatest mythological tales, the true story is not about gods fighting one another and all their epic powers. The true story is about human emotions and relationships. The writers decided not to take the easy option and instead crafted a masterpiece.